Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This week's review is a Browning X-Bolt 2 in the Nordic version with the Varitech adjustable stock. Now this is the black version of the rifle because it's available in different formats with camouflage and things like that. But it's available in 308, 6.5 Creedmoor and 3006, and I've tried it in the good old Common Garden 308, which is just the cartridge that does it all for most people. Now Browning X-Bolts aren't that commonly seen in the UK, but I think that's actually quite a shame because these rifles hold two very key secrets that not a lot of other people seem to do, and Browning themselves don't really promote it as much as they ought to do, but I'll come to those in a moment. The X-Bolt 2 Nordic has been designed specifically around the fact that, in Europe and the US, with suppressors and sound moderators becoming much more common, something we've had in the UK for quite a few years now, they're going for shorter barrels. And of course, in the larger cartridges, the larger bore size like 308, 3006, you still get great amounts of muzzle energy and efficiency. Now this one has got a 470mm 18.5 inch barrel, and it's got a 1 in 10 inch twist rate. That 1 in 10 twist rate is ideal because it stabilises those heavier, less dense copper bullets as well, which makes it a little bit more future proof. Now the barrel is threaded 14x1 for a sound moderator, superb, and it shows a very crisp crown. I've actually had a bore scope up and down this barrel, and I have to say these are inspected by Browning. They do make a comment of that, and I have to say it is quite good. It's better than average for most sporting rifles, certainly this price, which is £1,179 recommended retail in the UK, which I think is very good value. The crown is neat, the crown is crisp, and it's also got one of the latest Browning Iridium moderators on it. This moderator is 230mm long, 51mm in diameter, and it's 400 grams in weight. But it's got good sound suppression and it gives a comfortable shot as well. But that's also helped by the other designs in the rifle. Now the X-Bolt uses a 3-lug action, and the 3 lugs on the bolt give it a 60-degree lift. The bolt is now spiral fluted, and I have to say, you'll notice on the video, I actually found it almost slightly surprising at times because the bolt operation is phenomenally light and easy. You've also got good primary extraction and strong ejection. The Picatinny rail is held on tight by 4 bolts at the front and 4 bolts at the back, so that is very securely held. Now that 60-degree bolt is obviously a quick lift. You can take these bolt knobs off and you can get other options from Browning. It's got a side bolt release here, but most importantly the safety on these is on the tang at the back here. So forwards, safe dry fire, bang. Flick it back and the bolt is safe. It's also locked closed, but there is a small button at the top of the bolt handle here. Press that and that allows you to give a completely safe unload. The magazine system is underside. It's a polymer system. I don't have a problem with that at all, and it's rotary. It fits in and out very easily, quickly and quietly because everything's radius and tapered, and I do find it one of the best magazine systems in terms of just putting it in without messing about, and there's a nice catch at the front, get it out easily. It's also well worth noting that if you drop a round in through the ejection port, you can load it straight to the chamber. There's no hassles and no hang-ups, but you can't load the magazine when it's in the gun because it does load from a single central position, and you can see just like that That's how they go in there, and the magazine on this one holds 4 rounds, plus you can put one in the chamber. But those feed very smoothly, and it's a really nice uniform smooth feel around there. You don't have any problems with these hanging up in the gun, and I have to say it's a nice system for a sporting rifle. The trigger guard is spacious, you can have gloves on in there. The trigger itself is adjustable from 800 to 1300 grams, and it's a single stage operation. It seems quite crisp, there's no over travel to it, and you can actually use that very predictably, not a problem shooting it on target. I was actually shooting it in very hot conditions, so you know how to be quite steady with it, shooting 3-round groups, because I think that's the most representative for a sporting rifle, where a lot of manufacturers claim the 1 MOA capability. Most of them do meet it, to be fair, and I think in the case of this Browning I didn't have any trouble getting that, but we'll cover that in a moment. The back end of the rifle's got an Inflex recoil pad. It's 32mm thick, and it gives you quite a good soft recoil feel. It's very absorbent. The cheek piece on this Varitech stock is adjustable, so you can put that lower or higher depending on where you want it, and of course there gives me excellent alignment on the scope to make sure I'm getting good cheek weld. The rifle was very comfortable to shoot. You can see from the video that the bolt handling is pretty much fingertip light, and you get good extraction, good ejection. The barrel did take a few rounds to just bed in, but I only used one type of ammunition with it, which was the Winchester Extreme Point that Browning themselves supplied to me. It's 150 grain copper bullet, suitable for wild boar, red deer, roe deer, things like that. So it's an ideal hunting bullet for most of Europe, and of course it fulfills all the copper requirements. As you can see, the group's on target. You know, it took a little time to just steady in, but once I got it going, it was shooting quite nicely. In 100 metres, I've got 17mm group here, 2,644 feet per second for 2,329 foot-pounds, which is plenty of energy for most of the things we're going to see in Europe. And of course, if you want a little bit less, go for the 6.5 Creedmoor, 3 of the most popular cartridges that have ever existed. And the Creedmoor has only really just been added to that list, but it's done extremely well. Overall length is 970mm, which is 38 inches, and overall weight is 3 kilograms, which is 6.6 pounds. That's a modest weight, but it's not too light, and the rifle does still shoot well. The barrel is fully free floating in the stock, and when you do actually dismantle the barreled action from the stock, you can see one of Browning's other key things that they do that not many other people do. They actually bed the action in the stock, and when you remove the 2 screws from the bottom here, the action doesn't want to just drop out the stock like most rifles. You do actually have to get the barrel, get the bolt, and just carefully wiggle it and lift it out, because that bedded surface inside on the front and rear action bridges, or the underside and the tang and the recoil lug, make sure it is fitting in beautifully. And I have to say, that is one of the things that makes Browning and actually Winchester rifles seem to perform far above their weight category and price category. And it's something that for custom rifle builders is a fact of life. You have to bed a rifle stock to get the best from it. So it is something I would highly appreciate and recommend the Browning for, because they do that. The stock is a synthetic finish, it's not soft touch, so it can't go soft and sticky or anything like that, but it does have some slightly inlaid grip panels here at the grip and on the fore end. The fore end's got plenty of space to grip onto it, and you can see we've got a sling stud at the rear and a sling stud on the fore end. You can use obviously sling or your bipod on it, and I tend to prefer most of my rifles shot from a bipod. According to the website, the rifle is supplied with two 7mm spacers. Actual length of pull as it was tested here is 357mm, which is 14 inches. That suited me just perfectly, but those 7mm spacers will allow you to add a little bit more, and it comes with longer screws as well if you need those. Looking at the brass, we've got nice firm strikes on the primer, no excessive marks or anything like that to do with extraction issues, and the rifle gave me, as I say, very light, gentle bolt operation, and it was a pleasure to shoot. I think as a stalking rifle, or maybe as a little bit of a varminter, especially if you go for the 6.5 Creedmoor and the long ranges, it's a really good rifle because it's accurate on paper, but it's not too big and heavy and bulky. And for a realistic hunting scenario, do you really want a huge, great, big, heavy rifle that's only actually going to shoot maybe 2 shots, 3 at very maximum in quick succession? Because of course you don't always need that from a hunting rifle. Similarly, I shot the gun in hot conditions. It was about 28 degrees Celsius air temperature, and you know, it generates quite a bit of heat when you're shooting 308 quickly, and the barrel didn't have any problems with thermal distribution, you know, opening up the group sizes as it got hot. Of course, you're getting a bit of mirage off it, but I also thought the moderator was excellent in that respect, because the moderator wasn't adding to that in normal sort of sporting scenarios. So you could shoot 10 shots through this gun and there was no issue at all with diminished visibility of either the target or the bullet traced in flight. The tang safety is quiet in operation. It sits under your thumb. You can move it without it clicking or flicking anywhere like that. And similarly, if you do want to open the rifle quietly, it's no problem to do that at all. And if you want to load the rifle quietly, you just drop around the top and it will close nice and steady, nice and smooth. It doesn't need any excessive speed or force to operate. The last thing perhaps to cover is shooting the rifle from the bipod or shooting from a tripod with a clamp on it. Those are two factors that will soon illustrate if the fore end of a rifle is flexible, and although many advertise the fact they're free floating, if they're not rigid you can get intermittent barrel contact, especially when you're on the bipod. Point of impact was maintained from this rifle either from the bipod or the tripod shooting sticks with the clamp, and of course having the clamp here allows you to make sure you can still use the magazine system without it being trapped, because some rifles, you know, they're very flexible in the fore end just ahead where you need to put the clamp, and if you clamp up tight you get a zero shift. That doesn't happen with the Browning, and I was very pleased to see that. There's plenty of reinforcement in the fore end so it maintains that rigidity, and it's a very comfortable rifle to shoot. Even though it's a sporting build and it's not super adjustable, well, it's actually fundamentally an easy rifle to shoot because the cheek piece shape fits nicely under your cheekbone without displacing your jaw, and you get a good alignment on the scope. Having a Picatinny rail added to the action does actually elevate it slightly, so you only need low rings, but this kite optic on here suits the gun perfectly for excellent sporting use, and you've got all the versatility you need with magnification all the way down to 2 and all the way up to 12, so you can go from a wide field of view to a more precise shot placement, and you've also got an illuminated reticle. Fast focus adjustability at the back means you've got a crisp reticle picture, and I think as a package overall combined, this rifle end to end is just one of those things you can buy it, take it shooting, and you're going to enjoy shooting it, because after the first 20 or 30 rounds have gone through it, you're nicely bedded in on the barrel seems to clean up easily, it shows very few machining or tooling marks, which is excellent for a rifle in this price point. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that review of this Browning X Bolt 2. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and click the notification bell and keep track of the regular uploads. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.